I get in, sir?
Oh, Srija, come.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. You're from Warangal originally.
Yes, sir.
Did you have any schooling there or all the way here?
Schooling I have done till second class, sir. Then we shifted to Hyderabad.
Acha, which school?
OSS Public School.
Acha, where is it in Warangal? I am from Warangal.
Deshapet, sir.
Oh, Desapet. Okay, that is the Narsampet road. Kada? Right. So you are a medical doctor.
Yes, sir.
Which medical college?
Only medical college, sir.
You must have got a very high rank in MSET.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So this is the very first attempt.
Yes, sir.
You have come up to this point. Okay. Carry on, sir.
Yeah. So you are from Warangal, Srija. Can you tell me what has been done by the government of Telangana or by the union government to protect the heritage, the monuments, the iconic monuments that Warangal has, and to ensure that the posterity learn something from it? What has been done?
Sir, as you said, Warangal is a heritage town, sir. The central government has included Warangal as one of the city among 12 cities under Hriday scheme, sir, where 500 crore grant would be given for protection of the cultural heritage sites. And other thing, even the smart city project, Warangal is chosen as one, sir. So this will help in its improving its connectivity, so that the tourism potential which is present in Warangal can be realized. Those two things, sir. And one more thing is, even the government of Telangana has been trying to make Ramappa as the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So in that way, preserving its culture. These are few things which I could recall, sir.
There is some importance today for this heritage monument. Do you know what it is?
Sir, I couldn't get the question, sir.
Today is important for the heritage monuments for some reason. Can you tell me if you know?
Thank you, sir.
Recently, even Mandal Revenue Officer, who is otherwise called now Tahsildar, keep on interchanging, has been murdered by a farmer, a lady officer in Abdullah Beg Mandal, and you are a lady. In spite of looking at such instances where officers, particularly women, are being murdered, killed for some grievances, are you still willing to join the civil services?
Yes, sir. Those kind of things instead will motivate me to enter into civil services, sir, because it shows the trust deficit in the people towards certain kind of officials, or towards the services which they are being rendered. So I think it is my personal responsibility also to strengthen the trust in the people, because the very reason of me to join the civil services is also the same thing, sir. Making sure that the services get reached properly, and also make the lives of the people much more easier.
Why do you think this lady was murdered? Was she not selfless in serving, or was she selfish? That's the reason why she has been murdered?
Sir, exactly I don't know the reasons behind the murder, sir, but I think surely one I could say is the trust deficit between the people and the official. Probably the way the services have been rendered by the official wouldn't have been reached to the people in the same way, or there could be other angle also, sir. I think we need to go and find out the exact reason. I can't comment on it, sir.
You are a well-meaning officer, but you have a system which is rotten, which doesn't support your good intentions. So how do you resolve that conflict?
So one thing is doing our work right, in spite of it is always in the system that one or the other person doesn't do his work, or there'll be certain complaints within the system, be it anywhere, be it private, public, or anything. So one thing is we should be consistent and with integrity doing our work properly, and then not bothering about other things, sir. I think that could be only solution for a person who is determined to towards any goal.
See, it has become a fashion. There is a vested interest for the rulers in some states to criticize the establishment, to criticize the system, and then making officers face that kind of a system in the process of serving the people and making them vulnerable. Now, do you think this is really happening, or is it only a story that is coming out in the newspapers?
No, sir, I don't think it is just a story. It is true, sir. It has been in the history also, it will be present and will be in the future also. That whenever something is wrong, people tend to find out the persons to put the blame in, because no one will be ready to take the blame for. So I do think that is a reality, sir, that this kind of things.
Do you have any experience in facing a system which has troubles?
Yes, sir. I have been working as an intern during my graduation, sir. There, I have worked in Usmania General Hospital and other hospitals like Nilofer and maternity hospitals, sir. There, I have seen the lacunae in the system, how a system could function efficiently in order to improve the services to the people. And also, I've seen the other side of systems, like how very petty things like a small 100 rupees or 200 rupees per a wheelchair, which a person takes, is something which costs the dignity of the patient there. So these things I've seen as an intern.
What about the attitude of the allied health personnel, allied medical personnel in your own institutions where you worked as intern? And do you agree that they are coming out of the institutions without proper knowledge and skills? And if so, what has to be done? Is something being done by the governments in power?
Sir, firstly, this medical education takes almost 6 years, sir. We are made to pass through 5.5 years of intense training and related. Sorry, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. I do think there is lack of proper standardization and dynamicity within the education curriculum, sir. That is probably one of the reasons which is decreasing their efficiency of work at the field level. So I do think there is a lacuna, sir, and we need to correct it. And seeing the times of COVID-19, I do think there is very much need for the paramedical staff or allied staff to be efficient at their work, because our doctor-patient ratio is also very less. We need help of those allied professionals who are efficient at their work in order to make the things go right.
Something being done in that direction by the government?
Yes, sir. One thing is the National Commission for Allied Health Personnel Bill. This has been recently introduced in last session, sir, and it is under talks that this bill has to be passed on. And also the proposal in the NMC Act that apart from National Commission, even National Commission for nursing, as well as trying for the bridge courses where the mid-level health providers can be even accessed by the state governments. But however, that responsibility was given to the state governments, like how they wanted to go for bridge courses, on what certification they wanted to increase the number of allied health personnel. All these things were given to state government by the center.
You are from Telangana. Telangana today is a reality. We have emerged as a state. Can you tell me why, Telangana could not be realized in the earlier phases, and how this time we have clicked it? What could be the reason? Difference in strategies? Did you have any time to study this process?
Yes, sir. While studying about history of Telangana, I came across these things, sir. I do agree that during 1950s and 1980s also, there has been a huge revolution kind of thing which is running for separate Telangana. But then it was realized in 2014 only. The major reasons I could cite, sir, would be one, the political lobbying group, the strong polity which has been there. It was both on the sides of AP and Telangana, which was uniting with the present central government, like the central government then, where it couldn't find out a solution then, sir. But during the times of 2000 and 2010, the lobbying group of Telangana has become much more powerful. That is one thing I could identify, sir. And the second thing, that it has been almost 50 to 60 years, and Telangana and parts of Andhra Pradesh itself also have been mostly underdeveloped. Like the unemployment issue, the literacy, all these things have been towards a very lesser ends. So I think even the people and the government would also have thought that separate Telangana and separate Andhra Pradesh would in turn help the people in the local level also to progress. Probably these two things would have made it to the separate states for Telangana and Andhra Pradesh.
Have you heard of the Jayashankar's three global?
Professor Jayashankar.
Professor Jayashankar's three global, three magical words he gave.
Like go back exactly. Like I don't have an idea. So sorry.
You also studied as part of your course community medicine. If there are any lessons to be learned from the present pandemic, what are they? And how do we plan for them?
So one lesson could be the integrated disease surveillance system. We already have it, sir, but how far it is working? There are a large number of lacunae also present in between. Like for example, if an epidemic is going to arise within a district, it is far outreach that a state does identify it as an epidemic. So this information connectivity is one thing which we can focus upon, sir. And the second thing is awareness. Regarding awareness also, whenever such pandemics are going to arise even in the future, I think there should be a protocol which need to be followed, like identifying such surge in cases, then reporting it to the state, and then spreading it to the common people. All these things, I think information connectivity is one important thing which we need to focus on. And also the lab facilities. At any time there can be a risk of pandemic in the future also. So we need to be technologically equipped to identify them first, and then testing and tracking, sir. So these two could be two important things.
The perspective you are giving is purely from the medical side. I am just talking from the society angle. See, what are the lessons that we can learn from this pandemic? Actually, there are a lot of speculations, hypotheses about how this whole thing has broken out. Is it? So keeping that in view, as someone who studied community health, what lessons can we learn and how we can brace ourselves for the future recurrence of this kind of thing?
Sir, that could be one, that hygiene is the most important thing, that prevention is better than cure. This concept is something which we can learn, sir. And the second thing, sir, it needs the coordinated effort of a community, and not just a one person being right to face certain problems in these times. And also that we are a single the concept of that we are a single community and one humanity, and we need each other's help to identify and then to tackle certain problems like pandemics. I think these three things we can learn, sir.
Is there anything to do with ecology, ecological balance?
Yes, sir.
Is there a dimension?
Yes, sir.
Ecological.
Yes, sir. Ecological one. The One Health concept, sir, that every like even the health of animals, the sustenance of the environment, and the living of the individuals is interrelated. We need
We have to come to terms with the nature. Is there any lesson we can draw from it?
Yes, sir. That sustainability of nature is indirectly sustainability of humanity. This is something which we need to learn as human. Yes, sir.
See, during the course of the Telangana agitation, we have also been talking about corporatization of education, corporatization of the health sector and all that. Now we are almost into 7th year of the state foundation. As a layman, from someone looking from outside, I do not see things haven't changed much. Things remain more or less the same. You have the same corporate hospitals. You have the same kind of corporate hospitals exploitation and the neglect of public health systems. Given a choice, would you like to go to Gandhi Hospital or to AIG or etc. some other? So, I mean, let us be very practical.
As a patient.
Why is
He's
it?
talking as a patient.
why is it that things haven't really improved and where we should have started? Where are we? What is your perception of this?
Yes. Yes, sir. I wouldn't completely deny with what you said, sir, because it is a true. And I think the lacunae are one in focusing on preventive healthcare, sir. uh, it is not just something which is very much isolated to Telangana, to the complete India itself. We lack the importance of preventive healthcare sector as a priority. We often complain that health related GDP should be increased and research should be increased, but the most important thing or day to day problem which a common man face is the preventive healthcare aspects. Why should we treat diabetes? Why can't we prevent it? Why should we treat COVID? Why can't we prevent it? So this kind of mentality or thinking in the people or government has to be changed, sir. And then the second thing is even infrastructural gap also. When we are saying preventive healthcare sector is something very much important, we do lack community health centers or the urban health centers which we have or aligned on the rural healthcare needs. Urban needs are something different. The slums or the middle class population, they face different kind of problems when compared to the rural citizens. They face the non-communicable diseases in a very high intensity. So those centers should be equipped to identify or test to those kind of specific diseases also. So such kind of specialized or personalized medical care in the institutions is also the second thing, sir, which I could cite. And the third thing, sir, things are in progress. I think COVID-19 has also taught many governments, even the people, many lessons regarding the health as a priority. I think there will be a good way around.
How about improving primary health and the so-called Basti Dawakhanas and things like that? Has this government done anything on those lines? We keep hearing, outstanding example of Delhi, the great example of Basti Dawakhanas and all that. I think the issue that you are mentioning, prevention is better than cure, which is the golden principle. So I think we should start with Basti Dawakhanas first rather than tertiary sector. So probably there lies the problem, I suppose.
Yes, sir. The Delhi model of Mohalla clinics is something which we even followed by Basti Dawakhanas. And the best thing of Basti Dawakhanas is it's free diagnostics, sir. Like the basic diagnostics are provided freely, which charge the common man to a very huge extent. So not just like thinking of Basti Dawakhanas, sir. This Basti Dawakhanas number is also very important. One thing which common man thinks is accessibility to a medical healthcare setup, because it costs him a one-day wage or his precious time which you could earn somewhere else. So increasing the access to such kind of delivery points is also something which we need to focus for improving the health.
How about budgetary interventions, state interventions in terms of budgetary allocations? Is enough being done on that front?
Sir, things are in progress. There has been improvement right from years, but then it has been quite insufficient, sir. It is said that states GSDP should contribute about 8% to the healthcare sector, but then average healthcare budget has been 5%, sir, and Telangana is no exception for the same. It has been 5.2% even in this year also.
What would be the time frame in which you foresee a scenario where, given the choice, an ordinary man would prefer to go to a public hospital rather than a corporate hospital? What is the time frame that you are looking at, and what steps can be taken?
Sir, the time frame can vary from 5 years to 50 years also, sir. It depends on the political will and the kind of priorities we take towards the health setup. Steps can be, sir, one, increasing the access points. Like Basti Dawakana as a concept is good, but are they number right? And also the already present preventive healthcare institutions, are they working properly? Are the human resources in right number? Are they working effectively? These are very small things, sir, but when focused, they can bring change even within 5 years. But when ignored, will take 50 years to happen.
So you also invoke music to heal people. Does it have any healing properties?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Music does have a healing property, but then I never tried to.
I see. Any particular raga which is related to a particular disease or ailment?
Yes, sir.
Did you do some research? Did you see any interpolation between the connectivity?
Yes, Yes, sir. In treating the diseases, there are many ragas. So they say some ragas increase your concentration, some ragas relax you, will treat the headaches, all these things. But exactly, right now I couldn't recall them.
Major. So you stood first in the poster presentation. Yes. And also you are interested in the debate competition. So what are the topics you presented in the poster presentation?
Sir, in poster presentation, that was modern drug delivery system, sir. So the drug delivery system, I have focused on insulin delivery systems.
So what is the topic you have taken for the debate?
Sir, debate, it was 3 round session, sir. One round it was on euthanasia, and the other thing was on surrogacy, sir. In the third final one, we had to face each other and then counter argue on surrogacy.
So what is your view on this concept of surrogacy?
Sir, sir, personally, I think surrogacy is something. Surrogacy as a thing is not something bad, sir. Instead, such kind of bad things have to be regulated instead of putting a blanket ban, because they proliferate under this blanket ban and then cause issues mostly to the vulnerable people. So I think surrogacy as a concept has to be emerged and should be accepted by the government, not just altruistic but also commercial one.
What is the psychological impact of that on the person who is going to
Yes, sir. Psychologically, the lady would be connected to the child, which she would be bearing for 9 months of age. And second thing, sir, the issue of whether her commercial needs would be satisfied or not. And the third thing, sir, if at all during the process she faces certain kind of complications, which can be postnatally also, will she be insured of such medical risk? And also societally, will she be accepted as a person?
So man is not a mechanical person. So psychologically people are connected with these treated. So what would be the impact on it? Suppose if we allow this surrogacy for the commercial purpose. Suppose if it is on a humanitarian thing, right? But for commercial purposes, I think there are some restrictions with the. In your view, so should it be continued or it should be stopped?
Sir, I think commercially our surrogacy bill doesn't accept it, sir. We just recognize altruistic surrogacy. But personally, sir, when asked, I think a commercial thing has to be recognized and then regulated. Like one or twice is something is the limit which you need to put for a mother to bear a surrogate child, because the very reason that woman is going for such kind of extreme step can be poverty. And that economic vulnerability, when the state can't accommodate, I think it should be the right of the person to choose what she wants to do. So instead of avoiding commercial surrogacy, why can't we regulate? Can be one thing, sir.
You also go for the meditation. Yes. So what type of meditation?
Sir, that was Isha Kriya, sir. Isha Kriya is something guided meditation, sir, which I follow daily.
Do you find any methodology? For example, in the case of transcendental meditation, so that we got some type of methodology, how type of state. You got any such type of methodology?
Yes, sir. That Isha Kriya is a guided meditation, sir. There they follow for some 8 minutes. They go for breathing in and out exercises, sir. And then they go to chanting a word called it is not specific to any kind of religion, sir, so it is secular one. And then lastly, it just contributes you with pleasant pleasant music, sir, melody, which makes you to end up your meditation in a pleasant mood.
So did you hear the name of Shakti Gawai? Very famous singer.
Shakti Gawai. Sorry, sir, I'm not.
So her methodology is called progressive relaxation. So there is a mental sanction. She has introduced that technique where you will be withdrawn yourself completely and psychologically you will go into that particular place and you are going to meditate. Okay. Some tell us, can we use meditation as a method of medicine?
Yes, sir. We can use. Instead, I personally use it whenever I'm facing headaches or whenever I'm dropped into depression during my preparation also. Yes, sir, we can use meditation.
So what is the relation between meditation and emotional intelligence?
Sir, I think an emotionally intelligent person can opt something very good as meditation as his hobby, and also meditation in turn makes his or her mind stable so that he can take a decision without any emotional overturns. So they are interrelated, sir. So in that way, I think they each other compound each other.
So ultimately, what is the purpose of meditation?
Sir, one thing is finding time for yourself. That 15 to 20 minutes time for yourself in the whole 24 hours is a big achievement for an individual, sir. And second thing, relaxing your thoughts in that 15 to 20 minutes and being ready for the whole 24 hours day. That is the second thing, sir. And third thing is the breathing in and out exercises also improves the oxygen delivery to your brain and lungs. So that will increase the efficiency with which you take your decisions or you work, your intelligence, everything. So that in turn will improve your
From the last almost 25 minutes, I have observed that we got the understanding medicine. So in such a very trying circumstances of today, I think your services are better needed at the field as a medical person rather than as a bureaucrat. What is it say?
Sir, yes, sir, I do agree. Me taking MBBS as a graduation was no random step, sir. It was something which was taken very passionately then. But then there was a personal incident also which motivated me for civil services.
So what was your inspiration? When did you get this inspiration to come for civil services?
Sir, that was when I had to admit my father into the same hospital where I was getting educated, in Usmania General Hospital for a fracture. The rosy picture of me being a moving around the lanes of Usmania General Hospital was not similar to that when I have become a patient attendant, sir. I have seen the like dignity of my father getting staked at times, the kind of simple corruptions or briberies which was taking a toll on me. So I thought these things are something which are very common to all the sectors, and if you wanted to see the change, you should be a part of the change. At least you need to try your end to make that difference to happen.
So yesterday there was a CWC meeting on the spot. They were almost attacking the Prime Minister because the steps taken by him to manage the present pandemic, that is not adequate. So what is your say on this?
Sir, finding complete fault on any one person in this huge pandemic is something which I don't think would be right, sir. Because pandemic is something which has been started by the people and is being proliferated and being surged by the people, sir. Because not just a single message of a person in higher authority is going to change the mindset of people. It is we as a people to identify that pandemic is something which is very dangerous, and everyone is responsible for this to become a dangerous happening.
Yeah, that's fine. People are, of course, responsible for this. But the question is, as a leader of the nation, so he has to foresee the things and he has to face up preventive aspects. Today we have been facing oxygen shortage. We have been facing the type of political, what can I say, events taking place for many weeks together. And on the other hand, the religious aspects. There, I think the management is not properly done. What is it?
I think you are referring to Kumbh Mela and political campaigns and all those things, sir. Yes, sir, I do agree that there is a say that these things are happening when COVID cases are rising. But then, sir, this was something which was started when the COVID cases have been very low, and they have even proper precautionary methods which were asked by the people to be taken. But then these things, in spite of being said by a higher authority, in spite of being institutionalized, I think it also rests on the people's side to follow them. So when those things are not followed, it be at any time, not just now, I think there are higher chances that this pandemic surges will be seen, not just now, sir, even the next part of this year also.
I think we had quite a serious discussion on your medical background. I'll take you back to your home. You come from Uppal.
Yes.
And, the Uppal post office address has quite a unique picture in the entire country. It houses many national institutions. Can you name some of them?
Yes, sir. One will be the CCMB, sir, Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, the NGRA, sir, and the CBDT. Uh, s- for DNA fingerprinting and technology center for sorry sir, sorry, thank you sir, CDFD sir, Center for DNA fingerprinting and technologies, and Survey of India sir.
There is NIN, there is IACT, there is NMDC, there is NDRI. So, uniquely there are nearly 10 institutions in their postal address, which I don't think anywhere in India it has. Okay. My second question is, you said you're a debater and all that. Now, 2 years later, 3 years later, you are in administrative service. Then we have some serious issue. For example, this an epidemic. Let us hope the pandemic ends if we have an epidemic. And you have to address your people of this and about the importance of vaccination. In just a minute, I think you know what just a minute is. Can you just explain how you will do this?
Yes sir. So first thing, in the room where I would take the talk, I would already paste the posters regarding the epidemic seriousness, like the stats with which it has been raising, or the importance of vaccination and its efficacy, the kind of way in which the vaccination can be approached, so that meanwhile the people can glance through it, or post my talk they can have a look into it to increase their awareness. And in my 1 minute I would I would first state them the reasons, logical basis why they need to go for vaccination. I will reveal the statistics of the surge in the cases in the epidemic, and I would also talk regarding the awareness things, like if vaccination is the only thing which they could go for, instead of instead of getting into the disease. I think I'll say that I am the example who have taken the vaccine, and there are no side effects. I think that the only reason why people are hindering to take vaccine right now is the trust deficit, that the vaccine may not work as equally, and also the adverse events. So me saying that I have been the vaccinated candidate would in turn improve their trust. So I would focus on those two things, logically stating the statistics of how serious the issue is, and then saying why vaccination is so important.
And what special traits that medicine has taught you that you take to administration?
Sir, one thing is the patients, which patients that too optimistically hoping for something good to happen. That is one thing, sir. And second thing is identifying the symptoms to get into the disease. Generally we focus on treating the disease, but we as a doctor are trained to identify the symptoms of such disease to happen in future. So that thing can be the second thing, sir. And third thing, sir, it is also said that doctors are most compassionate towards the humanity. That would be my third thing which I'll take to services.
You agree with it now after your experience with your dad, with Osmania, and also what you are hearing all around?
Sir, even now my favorite doctor would be the sir who has treated my father, sir. I don't think it was his fault that my father's dignity was at stake, or I had to face such kind of events. It was a wrong thing, not just from his side, but also on part of me, and on part of the society, and on part of the administration. All people were responsible for that thing to happen, sir. We can't just singly outrightly declare that doctors have not been compassionate, that patients are facing the grunt.
No, a professional, normally does not make a good manager or good administrator. Doctor is good, he doesn't run a hospital well. So there are several examples. So how do you plan to bridge the administration, the route to becoming a good, professional who can manage things?
So one thing is learning each and every day. We see many people doing very petty things, but in an efficient way. We can learn from them. Second thing are seniors and juniors. being a learner daily and being humble will in turn help them, will in turn help as an individual to learn from their work experiences and examples. And third thing, sir, adapting to the situations. Like if at all there is a challenging situation, identifying it and then accepting it and getting ready every day to, by getting trained for an extra hour or for an extra mile which we need to walk to become efficient. That could be some basic steps.
Okay, then the interview has ended. We'll now give our feedback to you. Normally, we do not interview anybody in the box beyond 25 minutes. In your case, it has exceeded 30 minutes. The main interview in the Dholpur house in UPSC also does not exceed 25 minutes. That's about the. We want to actually simulate that kind of. At the end of that, my impression, they will also give you a feedback, is that you are a very mature person, considering the fact that you are awfully young. How old are you now?
I'm 24, 96.
Okay, but that's still very young, but you are very mature and your responses to our questions are very measured. You are not reacting, you are responding after contemplating what would be an appropriate answer. So that way, in a personality test like this, you certainly have come out very well. And regarding the MRO, that lady being murdered, you were very diplomatic not to identify that she was a corrupt lady. That helps because we have no personal knowledge. We are going by hearsay that she was corrupt. So she was set fire to by an aggrieved farmer. So you have identified the problem with the Indian society, the value system. And of course, you are hopeful that you are getting into the administration will solve it. That's a hope. Excellent. Just as a doctor hopes, as you said, that the patient would improve. So it is a systemic fault. It is a fault of the values. So I would rate you as a very suitable person for the Indian administrative service. However, there may be a few blemishes. They will give a full feedback.
Yeah, while totally agreeing with what the chairman said, yeah, I must say you are not excited about your answers when you know the answer very well. Nor you are depressed when some searching questions were put. You know, some pressure was put on you. So you are equanimous and you are balanced, and your frequency of replies is also uniform. So that's one good, attribute of yours that helps. You have done well by and large, and only thing is, it may be better if you frame your answers in 2 or 3 parts. If the question is also in 2 or 3 parts, instead of you may ask the interviewer to repeat if you forget about second part and third part of the question. There is a question with 2 parts. It's better you understand that there are 2 parts and you have to answer both without being reminded. Otherwise, according to me, you are a fit candidate and you have done very well. Good luck.
Where is the interview? I forgot. June 3rd, plenty of time. Excellent, excellent. A few, regarding Telangana agitation, etc. The agitation, what is called Toli Udyamam, was in 1969, not in the 80s. The protest against the merger of the Andhra state and the erstwhile Hyderabad trifurcation was in 1956. That was on a linguistic basis. Since then, there have been people who wanted the Telugu-speaking people not to be united, but because of the historical past. So that you should be aware. The reasons, as per your appearance, you said is lobbying and all that. It's fair enough. I am nobody to dispute it. But the actual division took place in 2014 by an act of parliament. So that was the Congress government. So what compelled them, I don't know. What prompted Sonia Gandhi Some people say 2 chief ministers giving a lot of money is better than 1 chief minister. Whatever it is, I don't want you to be flippant in your answers. So you have been very careful in your answers. But when he asked you about the ideological background, see, there are also some theoretical inputs. Professor Jaishankar, in whose name that old Warangal district, part of it is named. So he was a great theoretical strategist. And therefore, in this interregnum till June, if you can read a little more about the content of his contributions. There is another engineer called Vidyasagar Rao who passed away. There are some solid reasons. Of course, timing is divine. I don't really know how it happened in 2014. It's okay, it has happened. But as he said, there is no improvement at all. The second thing regarding Basti Davakhana, it's a Government of India policy. It's not restricted to Telangana. So they are funding it. In Telugu, it's called Basti Davakhana. In Delhi, it is called something else. Mohalla. But this is an all India pattern, funding largely by Government of India policy. But however, that is the right path. You mentioned it, but numbers are insufficient, etc. So, given the time that's available, you can polish on this. Okay? He'll give a feedback.
Somehow you tend to address questions primarily from a medical angle, which gives slightly a lopsided view of any issue. There is a heavy content from the medicine to any given issue. Actually, pandemic is such a general thing that it is multidimensional. It has jolted humanity out of its composites. That man can conquer nature, we have understood nature and things like that. It has posed a big challenge. Now, time has now come for humanity to negotiate with nature, to live in harmony with nature. Okay, so a lot of sobriety is required on the part of humanity. Okay, so I think you have to address this issue from the end, not purely medical management and things like that. That we have to keep vaccines ready and keep washing hands and things like that. That's purely very tunnel view of the entire thing. And it has also thrown up many challenges to humanity. Okay, now it is time for man to sit back and say, okay, this is what I have done. So a lot of introspection has to be done by the mankind, and it has also thrown a lot of challenge to different nations in different levels of development. That's one. So you have to raise the level of your answer to slightly higher. Instead of just confining yourself to purely looking at it as a medical. Right?
You should stop thinking. Your background is of being 6 years medical, and even now something to do with medical. You have to now take that mask off and believe that you are an intellectual, a very active aspirant to get into the Indian Administrative Service. Therefore, there are other perspectives. So your responses are largely based on, as he said, a medical perspective. But there are other perspectives. That's what he
That means now you have to transform yourself into more like a social animal, if I were to put it that way. Become more of a social animal. Look at as part of society, not just being a doctor treating a patient. Okay? That's one. And without repeating words, the chairman has already said about your Telangana awareness. Basic difference being, why 69 failed and why this time we succeeded. 69 was more like a sporadic, more like emotional, more urban-oriented.
And violence.
It was just confined to mostly, few towns and urban areas and all that. But this time there is a groundswell. It has percolated even up to villages level. You must have seen, even farmers, coming on bullock carts and all kinds of things, cutting across all sections of society, professions. So it is more like a social movement. And please don't use the word revolution. Be careful about those words. Revolution is a very, very loaded word. Okay, it's a movement. Okay, be careful about those words. And this time, as the chairman has rightly said, there is an ideological plank on which the entire discourse was, taken to higher level. Political lobbying is just one dimension of the whole thing. Okay. And the three magical words are Nidu, Nidulu, Niyamaka. That is water. Water is an issue. So there was some injustice in sharing of waters. Okay. Funds were diverted. Various, special committees which were there as part of gentleman's agreement never honored. Okay. Then the issue of jobs. All your, 6-point formula and everything being diluted. These are the three planks on which the entire discourse was articulated. And I think basically that. And the health issue actually again, once again, see the emphasis. We still haven't come out of that, problem of how to reduce the influence of corporate hospitals,
Public health.
public health system. It's not just painting Usmania Hospital or Gandhi Hospital that is going to attract people, or just changing some glass panes here and there and things like that. That's not going to solve the problem. So we need to look at that issue more carefully. There must be more trust, and you have to inculcate that confidence in the public that instead of going to Asian Institute of Gastroenterology or some Sunshine Hospital, I can as well go to Gandhi Hospital. Though our former governor often used to go there and create some kind of a confidence, but somehow it did not leave. Because when governor goes, there will be prior intimation, everything will be spick and span, and he'll be treated nicely with all the protocol and all that. So they're more like a flash in the pan. That's not going to solve the problem. Okay. Such a
Collector's daughter delivers.
correct. If the daughter delivers in a hospital, then you see all institutional deliveries are taking place.
Dr. Sridhar. So Chairman and Dr. Sir has given very nice feedback on where you have. So you got very good response, and you got very high potential also get into the service. The areas Sir Vivek Sir has already given state issues. So apart from that thing, this meditation and all this are very lighter aspects. But when such a question has come, then we have to grab the opportunity. So you said that guided meditation. What exactly is guided meditation? So you have to explain. Suppose if the member says it's okay, then you can stop. Otherwise, you can have a scope to enlighten on how you do and what benefits you are going to get. Suppose if you have any other meditative methods which I have mentioned, like action or maybe sitting together, you can compare those things also. Okay, so there good opportunity is there because that is your hobby. So when there's a hobby, then there's a lot of exploration. You can take care and you can also select the best one. Because I know certain meditations, but I have formed my own meditation. So that way you can come up.
Because sir, it was once said that it should be a conversation. You shouldn't reveal all your thoughts in one go. There was this kind of talk, sir. So I was.
You are talking the pure self. So you are not going to share it with anybody else.
Okay.
Anyway, you have to watch the responses and reaction of the interviewing members.
Yes.
In case their body language indicates that enough, you stop.
Yes, sir.
So you should not
Preconceived
it's not an uncontrolled outflow of words. You have to keep watching how is the response. So if they feel, let's go to the next question. You have to put a pause.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I think you got a fair view of what you are now. I think my only point is when you go to the interview, hopefully the curve in the COVID will come down. And there will be a natural propensity for the board to jump on you because of your medical background. So I suggest you fare well. And don't fall for technology, what is called jargon, and get deep into medicine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your role will be in future think your thinking should be that angle.
Yes.
Although your knowledge should help, but you don't get into too much of medicine and then I think tangle yourself in it.
Yes.
Otherwise, I think you're matured and very thinking in that.
Anything you want to ask?
Sir, regarding singing, when they'll ask us who's your favorite singer, then Carnatic music, actually there are many legends, sir. But one of the mock interviews they were saying even say the like recent ones in Carnatic music. Recent ones haven't made such.
Don't worry, this is my response. First of all, they are not very serious when they ask questions about this.
Yeah.
However, there may be occasions when they'll say, "Can you sing?" So, maybe if they ask, you just sing for a very half a minute or just an alap and arohana and avarohana, whatever it is, just keep quiet. In case they say, "Who is your favorite singer?" that is your choice. If you say M.S. Subbulakshmi, M.S. Subbulakshmi. If it is J. Sudas, if it is J. Sudas. Otherwise, if it is some pop singer, Shreya Ghoshal, Shreya Ghoshal. So, there are no logic or reasonableness in this matter. I may like Kaushik V. Chakravarti, I may like. But there is no need of a justification.
Sir, I was thinking of the same classical singing. I kept it as classical singing, so they expect me to like a classical singer.
Yeah, but you cleverly avoided. He brought the ragas and all that. You so cleverly avoided, you didn't mention any ragas. You simply said some ragas, they'll calm you, some ragas. So, that's okay, it's a battle of wits. If you fell for it or if you exploit it, supposing you really knew much about it, you would have said Kadra Kutuhala Ragam. That would make him jump in the bed. And then say, this is Raghuvamsa Sudhambudhi by Patnam Subramanya Iyer. That goes on. You can impress. That is what he said about meditation also. It depends. If the intervening board members are bored, enough, we don't want Kadra Kutuhala. It's okay.
To add what sir said, the intention we have to understand why this is being asked. Actually, we didn't ask you to sing our poetry because the purpose is the money. Suppose if you get such a chance, because when I went to their interview booth, I got a chance of my favorite poet, and they asked me to give a poem. Okay, we didn't ask anything, but the purpose of asking you to sing a song or maybe mention a
Anything you want to ask?
Sir, regarding singing, when they'll ask us who's your favorite singer or so, then Carnatic music actually there are many legends, sir. But one of the mock interview they were saying even say the like recent ones in Carnatic music. Recent ones haven't made such.
Don't worry, this is my response. First of all, they are not very serious when they ask questions about this.
Yeah.
However, there may be occasions when they'll say, "Can you sing?" So, maybe if they ask, you just sing for a very half a minute or just an alap and arohana and avarohana, whatever it is, just keep quiet. In case they say, "Who is your favorite singer?" that is your choice. If you say M.S. Subbulakshmi, M.S. Subbulakshmi. If it is J. Sudas, if it is J. Sudas. Otherwise, if it is some pop singer, Shreya Ghoshal, Shreya Ghoshal. So, there are no logic or reasonableness in this matter. I may like Kaushik V. Chakravarti, I may like. But there is no need of a justification.
I was thinking of the same classical sing. I kept it as classical singing, so they expect me to like a classical singer or a singer.
Yeah, but you cleverly avoided. He brought the ragas and all that. You so cleverly avoided, you didn't mention any ragas. You simply said some ragas, they'll calm you, some ragas. So, that's okay, it's a battle of wits. If you fell for it or if you exploit it, supposing you really knew much about it, you would have said Kadra Kutuhala Ragam. That would make him jump in the bed. And then say, this is Raghuvamsa Sudhambudhi by Patnam Subramanya Iyer. That goes on. You can impress. That is what he said about meditation also. It depends. If the intervening board members are bored, enough, we don't want Kadra Kutuhala. It's okay.
So there should be some relevance for the to add what sir said, the intention we have to understand why this is being asked. Actually, didn't ask you to sing or project because the purpose is that. Suppose if you get such a chance, because when I went to the interview booth, I got a chance of my favorite poet, and they asked me to give a poem. Okay, we didn't ask anything. But the purpose of asking you to sing a song or maybe mention a great singer is to understand your character again. So you have to suit the occasion. You cannot go what you like. You must see that why this is being asked. So both should be kept, and your character should not be relegated. So you keep your character, and you must also see why this is being asked, and again you can show your character through your singing, or the poet or the singer whom you are going to mention. So there should be some relevance for the occasion and for the system. So that way you can mold the occasion in your.
It's basically to test in your DAF, you've written something. Many people boast. Hobby, reading. So next question will be, what have you read recently? Oh, in the year 1995, I read something. Then how do you say it's a hobby? It is to test, are you boasting or is it a fact? So some depth is required. Anyway, if you are clever, you are glossing over it.
But just to amplify, since you are doing well, depending upon the extra mileage that you get in the interview, 10 marks extra over the normal candidate will get you maybe home cadre or IAS instead of IPS. So therefore, strategy is what? You have to build on your strengths. So since you are strong, what the other member has said, you must get into the depth unless they say stop it. So you must use your strengths. That's the point.
If meditation is your strong point, if it is not, don't worry.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to ask?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, then we feel the time is well invested because we find a lot of promising. You may end up as collector of Vikarabad or something. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.